crowded. So crowded. So crowded. So crowded. Deep in Denpasar. Oh, my head is very... Okay, let's stop. Hello. Ooh, very loud. Hello, hello. Testing. It's Tiffany here. Here we go, everybody. Filming right here, right now. I'm here in Bali. Welcome back, everybody. Happy Thursday evening. It is 9:07 p.m. May the 1st. Here we are, 2025. Let's kick off this video this evening with a very powerful quote. The clearer you are, the more confident you move. In this evening's video, I want to give a life update, a check-in, an audit, and I am also inviting you this evening for you to allow yourself a life audit, business audit, health audit, vibe audit. So the reason why I want to create this video, that we are almost through half of the year. It is obviously May. I have been personally doing a mid-year audit, evaluating my personal, professional, and financial goals. I invite you to do the same as well. So I'm just going to share a reflection about resetting and getting clear for the rest of the year, and for whether it's for the rest of the year or maybe it's 1, 3 year, 10 years from now today. What I'm going to discuss in this video this evening is I'm going to just share my own clarity around my mission, my vision, and my values when it comes to my own life, my business, my financial life, as well as share some business updates, some lessons where I feel like I have grown, some of my goals, some different wellness practices that I have made sure that I've been plugging into, things that I've been loving, share about surfing since I've been back in Bali, also share how you can also allow yourself to do also a 3-part life business audit for yourself, and how important it is to implement strategy into your life, because that will allow your soul to feel at ease and obviously allow you to move closer to your goals. Oh, my head is very close to the video here. I'm going to do this. Okay, let's start off with, I want to go over the personal, professional, and financial goals, as well as my mission and vision and values. And for you also to think about this for yourself, whether you have a current business or maybe you are watching my channel this evening and you are also seeking to start your own business or interested in what I'm doing. I actually invested in a new course, and I've been since the beginning of the week diving into the course content, the modules. One of the first modules is laying down the foundations. Actually, the course, it's called Remix Your Business, and it has been created by Natalie Dawson. She and her husband are the CEOs and founders of Cardone Ventures. I've been following her and watching some of her content since I actually got back from Hawaii and I was in Sydney. I started diving into her content on YouTube and actually, really started binge watching her content. I actually was really loving Brooke Castillo, her podcast called the Life School Podcast. And actually I was looking at for myself, and maybe you are certified yourself, or maybe it's a podcast that you plug into already, or maybe you would like to dive into it, about life coaching. And actually I had researched, I wanted to do my own life coach certification. Not necessarily, I think I also spoke about this in a previous video, not necessarily that I wanted to pursue life coaching as a full-time focus. However, I did see life coaching and getting certified as a beautiful additional skill to contribute to my entrepreneurial journey. I was in Sydney and I discovered Natalie Dawson, and her husband is Brandon Dawson. Fast forward, through Cardone Ventures, there are a bunch of different courses that you can invest in, and I chose to invest in this course called Remix Your Business. Actually, we had our first mentorship call the other morning, and I realized actually this has been my style, that I have allowed myself to dive right into the deep end with that course. And I feel a little bit like a fish out of water. However, I am finding so far so much value out of it. I was on that call the other morning. There were almost 100 people on the call, the live Zoom call. There were people sharing about their business that they are already creating $750,000 in revenue per month already. They're already generating, $9 million with their business. So currently my business is not quite at those numbers or that revenue yet. However, it's very, very inspiring to be in the room with these types of people and to be led by Natalie herself. Her and her husband have created a massive amount of success. I think actually their business is about 500 million, or maybe the net worth is about 500 million. Their business is taking businesses and 10xing their businesses. So I've found their content really, really powerful. And so far, like I said, what I've just been diving into with Natalie's course has so far been very, very powerful. One of the first modules in laying down the foundation, and look, whether or not you have a business or not, but I think this is really powerful to break down your personal, professional, and financial goals. And I've been doing this for 1 year, 3 years, and 10 years. It's really allowed me to zoom out, first of all, and reverse engineer my 10-year goals. And it's been quite a spiritual practice, and it's been something quite big for me to really not only manifest, but really dive into my wild, crazy ideas and just write out some of the things that I would love to achieve over the next 1 to 10 years. I found this very, very powerful. Definitely suggest that you do this for yourself. Another one of the visions, and some of these are obviously related to Enagic, my high ticket business model that I am involved with currently, and then breaking down within the company's financial structure certain goals that I see myself achieving within the next 1 to 3 to 10 years, and then breaking that down financially, where I'd like to be with my own profit commissions. There was an exercise that I was actually writing down about what my quantified impact would be over the next 1 to 3 to 10 years when it comes to my financial goals and professional goals. And yeah, it's really, really powerful. And then I've written down also my personal goals of desiring to be married again one day, and some other goals that I have for travel, and some of my other personal goals and wellness and things. So found that really, really not confronting, but I found it at first really confronting. Like, oh, okay, let's write this down. Sometimes I've written down one goal or this goal or that goal, but to really structure it out in that timeline and in those different sections of my life, personally, professionally, and financially, I found it very, very powerful. And I invite you to do that as well. Then another one of the modules that I've been creating clarity around is my own brand, the vision, the mission, and the core values. And I found that also, again, very, very inspiring, and to get a lot of clarity with not only do I have these certain goals, but then how do I relate that specifically to my business, to my brand. And so I've written down one of the things that I have now created, journaled out, rewritten over and over, and created very powerful languaging around, is that I have this desire now to impact 1,000 free surfers, or whether you are a fitness enthusiast or a wellness enthusiast, maybe you are a creative, and I wish to impact you to build a business so that you can live a life of freedom, live a life of wealth, wellness, expansion, opportunity, travel, vibe. So I found that really, really fun. There's something that in the next 10 years, that is what I desire to have. A really big goal is to really impact 1,000 people. Some people's goals may be bigger or larger than this. This is not about comparing my goals to your goals. I've gotten really clear with what it is that I desire, and I wish for you to do that for yourself as well. Yes, so structurally, I have been breaking down what some of the levels in my business and the commission and the sales volume and revenue that I need to generate and create. And then, of course, getting clear with okay, what do I need to do for the different areas for business, with sales, marketing, with leadership, things like this. I've gotten really clear, focused on as I can. I definitely encourage for you to, whether it's in your current way of living or if it's something that you're seeking an actual career change or a lifestyle change, I definitely invite you to be really wild and over the top in writing down and journaling what it is that you desire, and know that it's possible with your own faith and your own practices, and then also by aligning with the right vehicle and having a structure and all of that. I won't sort of break down like business right now, like what you should do. Just know that I think it's really important and it can be really valuable if you allow yourself like an audit of your life like that, and to manifest like that and strategically plan out like that. I think that's very powerful. Feels really good to do that. I have had since the beginning of the year a Pinterest board, which is for 2025, different quotes and visuals and different things that I continually add to a folder that I have in Pinterest. And that's an idea for you if you wish to do that yourself. I think that there can be really powerful practices and mediums and resources that you can refer to allow yourself to get into that manifesting state, that visualization, that place of visualizing and that place of planning, and for your future, for your vision, for your goals, for your intention. Let's move along to, I want to give you like a business update. It's been really, really interesting. Since I left, and I spoke about this as well in my video before, something that I've really tried to focus on for business, for my health, for my fitness, for spiritual practices is, can you stay really grounded and aligned and on point and on track with your certain goals and your vision when everything seems to be a mess, or when there's like noise everywhere? And I mean figuratively and literally, because I came back to a house that's had a lot of damage with mold, and it just needs some upkeep and some repairs and renovations. Since the beginning of the week, or since maybe, I gratefully found lead foreman construction man who's in charge of the construction, and I've had workers here and they've repainted every room in the place, which feels so good, like fresh walls, like white, bright, clear, bright energy, as well as one of the sleeping bedrooms. It had a lot of mold. It was absolutely disgusting. It was disgusting. Mold is really, really bad for you if you inhale that. That's been fixed. The bathrooms have been repainted. They today created new drainage for the water to channel out from this place is built really interestingly, let's just say. So they've created like better drainage for the water outside. Like a few more things. My storeroom is next, where all my surfboards are in the storeroom. So they're going to do that tomorrow, as well as I also have a new cleaning lady. That's kind of interesting because I fired the other lady and I have a new younger girl. So she's come a couple of times. I've had like laundry. As you can see behind me, finally I have some new sheets on the bed. When my space is messy, it obviously means my mind is messy. And when I got back from Sydney here, it was like I have tried to like just get straight back into my workflow, and it's been challenging for me because everything's just been a mess. Even tonight, I'm surprised that I found, actually I couldn't even find, I have a battery dummy when I'm like recording long form content, so the battery doesn't run out. I have this battery dummy. Do you think that I can find that? I think that I've lost that. I also the other day was able to go to an audio store deep in Denpasar. If you know Denpasar, that is Bikini, that is like a lost place. I was able to like get a screw attachment so that the microphone fits to the mic stand. Finally, actually, I don't need to hold the mic stand. I do need to configure. I'm just looking here because I can actually see the screen here, even though it's recording here with my video. Finally, I don't have to like hold the microphone. It's like everything's just been a mess here. I have struggled. I have been Bikini Bommy G-Land. We have G-Land running into my backpack. It is Bikini. Miss Bikini. I've just fed her 3 times in the last not even 2 hours. Bikini. Okay, so I'm trying to give like a business update. I'm moving into, actually, I'm grateful. I am dialing in some outsourcing to help me with a few different things in my business. I'm not quite yet going to share about that. There are some new parts of my business that I am implementing so that I'm able to scale my business as well as just continue to learn and grow and expand. Because like I just said, I have become really clear with some of the goals that I have moving forward. You know, they say, oh, once I have this amount of money, or once I look like this, or once I already X, Y, and Z, then I will X, Y, and Z. But the thing is, and this is when it comes to investing, conversations I have like, oh, when I have the money, I'll start the business. Or when I have the time, I'll plug in and watch that course, which shares about how to create more time, more freedom, more choice. But actually, and this goes back to the law of attraction, that in order to have what you desire, it's a matter of, first of all, being and doing to have. If you want to create more money, nothing comes from nothing. So in order to create more money, it's imperative that we focus on investing money so that we're able to move some things forward to expand. And then you're able to inevitably create more money, as well as like time. Oh, I want more time. We all actually get the same amount of time, but it's what we do with our time to create then that time freedom. What am I spending time on today that can set things up so that I have more time, more money, more freedom for tomorrow and in the future? I know that you know what I'm sharing, but I just needed to voice that and speak that out. In sharing that, I'm very, very excited. I am investing money for some different things for my business to scale and expand my business. I have been creating clarity around content, systems, education, things like this. I did write out a 90-day strategy, which I do need to create some more clarity around. One of the most powerful things that I spoke about just in that last, the first section that I talked about. What's going on? Rester, we have a come here. Okay, we're coming back. Here we are back. Can you hear also what's really interesting? I just really need to, there's a certain piece that I feel some people are terrified of putting their face on camera. For me, in certain realms, there's actually like this like piece that I feel when I am expressing like my journey through life surfing business, voicing my insights, giving value. It's the same, but in a different dynamic piece that I feel even when I'm sitting out in, and I know I'm digressing, when I'm sitting out in the Bali lineup, even if there's no sets. I was there the other day. It was more of a south swell and it was like 4 to 6 foot plus. So it wasn't big. It was like tiny. I wanted to sit up there and just be in that space, be in that area, be in the energy there, even though there wasn't that much energy, but just be out in Bali, just reading the wave and being there. And it's crazy that I feel this peace there. I'm always learning that wave and just being there. So it's the same thing. What I'm trying to share is it's the same thing when I sit down to share some content here in front of the camera, even though you can hear that my nose is a little bit blocked, as well as my ears and my throat's a little bit strange. But again, I really wanted to share a few things with you. Okay, what's been really powerful is that, yes, I got really clear on my personal, professional, and financial goals. And I was creating clarity around what quantified impact in wealth and with my business that I'm going to create over the 1, 3, 10-year span, as well as, obviously, as you know, I'm aligned with a certain specific high-ticket business vehicle, as well as I'm also aligned with an online platform, actually a few different platforms. You probably heard me speak about that before, where I get mentorship and training, which is so important, as well as my own seeking of information. And like I just shared, I have invested in that new course. Key phrase here is that you don't need more hustle. You just need to be very aligned. You need to be in aligned action, inspired action, intentional action, as well as mentorship and the high impact vehicle that I'm involved with. For those of you who are watching and you do have specific professional and financial goals, please realize that everything is possible. I was figuring out my results that I've had over the years, over this year. I actually have 10x that, which has now given me the number that I'm working towards when it comes to my own income, as well as the sales volume, my business revenue over the next, 10 years. And it's so important that if you have specific goals, it's so important to have very aligned models to be partnered with. And whether that's your fitness goals, your wellness goals, health goals, professional goals, financial goals, it's so important that you align and partner with vehicles, models, structures that can actually get you there. Because trying to guess your way and take information from here, there, and everywhere, it's still possible, I believe, to get to where you need to go, but why not follow structures or models that are already proven and tested? And that's obviously what I'm aligned with my business. That's obviously what I am aligned with when it comes to certain training and education for certain types of the business, whether it's sales, whether it's marketing. Really, really grateful that the course that I am now plugged into, it covers all the different areas in business. And some areas right now with the course that I'm involved with that I literally just started does talk about maybe different areas that I may not be utilizing right now. I'm in the room now, it's so interesting that I remember since the beginning of the year and always listening to different podcasts and audiobooks and knowing that I am involved with a online platform. Maybe currently you are also, whether you're already in a mentorship or a platform and you have some trainings or meetings that you show up to, but you're still seeking more. I'm always seeking more, right? And I was like, I really hope that I can find my next mentor to invest in so that I can start to not only be led by somebody, and I'm already with certain mentors and leaders in the space for Inagic, which I'm grateful of, Brian Hodgson and Brandon Odom and Lloyd, I forget his last name, but some other leaders with Iconic Marketer. That's the main platform that I'm a part of. And then I'm part of a larger global community that has like 25,000 people in it that is founded and run by Balaj W. Cardos. A massive amount of success. He's also a mentor with Iconic. I was also looking just for my next mentor last year, if you've heard me speak about, which has been so powerful. It's the best thing that could have happened, that I invested last year in my personal development. As you know, I've spoken about that I invested with Kathleen Cameron. She was the mindset and manifestation mentor that I've had, that I still plug into and listen to her on YouTube or podcasts. I'm actually, so you can see there's a book back there. I'm reading the Best of Herself book. I actually started another book last night, but I was looking for that next mentor, and I knew that I wanted to be in rooms with mentors that have achieved crazy success professionally and financially in the 7, 8, 9 figures, as well as just be in the rooms of others who've created big success. That's just what I've done, because on my first call the other day, I was listening to people, put their hand up and speak about their businesses, and I was like, oh wow, people are really doing big things. And I love that because it feels really uncomfortable. I feel like a fish out of water. I feel really in a sense, out of my league. But am I really out of my league? Because you're not out of your league if you're where you are. You are exactly where you need to be where you are, if that makes sense. Actually, it was so interesting. Somebody said to me at the beginning of the year that I have shared about here, somebody made a comment about when it comes to my surfing, she's a little bit out of her league, but she sends it, meaning I'm showing up in the lineups at places to surf on the North Shore, which are challenging, let's just say, politely. But what's really interesting is that, I was still able to get waves. Maybe not the biggest and best waves of the day, but I was still there in the lineup. I made it in and out of the water safely. I'm still alive, and I still was able to catch waves. I think that's pretty pretty fucking good. And now I love that I've just put myself again now in a business sense in rooms where people are making crazy revenue for their businesses. And that feels so uncomfortable, but it's like the place exactly where I need to be. Because the more, and I've spoken about this, that you can put yourself in environments that cause you to stretch in really big ways in order to keep up, you're going to like match your frequency with their frequency. And inevitably, your success is inevitable because you're putting yourself there. The law of attraction and the law of not reciprocity, the law of consequence. I'm not quite sure. Don't quote me on that. But it's just like by being in that environment and that frequency, it will cause you to rise. And that's exactly why I'm so grateful that I've done that. Because now that I have written out my 1, 3, and 10-year goals, now I'm like, right, I am on track to do some crazy things. I can definitely feel confident that that's what I've done with surfing. Another quote, how you do one thing is how you do everything. It's just a matter of time. Your success may not obviously happen just overnight, but by following strategies and showing up and having your faith and being in the rooms with those, it's all on the way. So I feel really confident that I've made that decision, even though I am feeling very stretched and very uncomfortable, but it's really fun. I've already learned so much. Okay, so that's what I just wanted to share on business. And I definitely invite you, of course, like I'm going to plug in my own, business here. If you are looking to change your life in a radical way, please reach out and ask me about information about what I'm aligned with, because you may be interested. If not, please continue to enjoy the video. Bikini, come here. Come on. You've eaten already so much. Come on. Oh, we have Bummy in the background. What's up? You want to say something? You're on camera. You're in the new mic. What do you have to say? Share with everybody. What are some of your your personal, professional, and financial goals? Oh. Anything else you want to share? Not so much. Okay, let's talk about a quick little update with surfing. It's like a blessing and it's like a curse. I'm so grateful for the time that I had surfing on the North Shore. Second season was amazing. Like if you've heard any of the videos that I've created, I was so challenged in the water. However, I feel like for me, I think I've improved. And I like to only compare myself to me versus me out there. Feel like coming back to Ulu, like we haven't had a big swell yet. However, I've had some fun medium-sized days and even the smaller days. I've had some really fun waves. I've been really focused on technical things, like really focused on like my bottom turn, what my arms are doing, getting used to my 5-5 board. It's so interesting, actually. I would like to, when it's not too small, take out my 411 board. I do have a 5-1 board, but it rides a bit weird. So 5-5, which I'm riding now, which is my Juliet board that I got made in Hawaii. And then I have my 411 Almeric Fever, which is like the most fun board. But I was looking at photos the other day. I was like self-indulging. And the spray that I can create from my top turn on the 411 is way bigger than I've seen any of the spray that I can do on my 5-5. Just for shits and giggles, like I always like to say, I would like to take out my 411 and see if I'm able to create a little bit more spray. My 5-5 is only 19 liters and my 411, I think it's 17 liters, but I feel like it's obviously lighter. So we have to experiment with that. On the medium days, have been trying to focus more technical things, bottom turns, top turns, reading waves. Even I've been to temples a couple of times because this year I said I wanted to try, different places to surf. I'd like to try Padang when it starts to break. I haven't yet been to racetrack, but I've kind of ventured over to temples. One day I got 2 waves, like it wasn't very exciting, but I was there. I'm been trying to do something different. It's been a blessing that I've been in Hawaii. However, the other day, must have been Monday or Tuesday, it was 4 to 5 foot at Ulu. Not so clean, crowded. So crowded. And really hard for me to fight and hustle for 4-foot waves. It's not like that. As soon as the lineup gets 6, 7, 8 foot and then bigger, the lineup's like really thin out. But on small days, like 4 to 5 foot. Oh, so it was Monday. I was a little bit hungover. I think I went out with my friend Joanna and we drank a bottle of rosé wine, which was very nice. I was tired, a little bit hungover. And then with the waves, I was like, I'm not going to hustle for these small waves. I cannot be at Ulu if it's like 4 to 5 foot. Like, it's just really hard. I'm just not going to like hustle for the wave. I just don't see fighting for the wave, like a 4-foot wave. And I'm so grateful because again, it's so interesting. When I was on the North Shore backside, I was like grabbing the rail because the waves were so fucking steep and quick and fast. And here I watch in general, people at Ulu on their backside, where it's a left wave, if they're regular foot and they're going back, I'm not seeing people really grab the rail. Not so often because the wave is not that steep. So then I went to YouTube and I tried to watch some shorts from Rocky Point. I'm so grateful that I surfed at Rocky Point and Yards and then like all the other spots on the North Shore because the waves are like next level there. And I realized like surfing at Ulu, a couple of the days or the first day that it was 6 to 8 foot and it was 16 seconds, that I realized was like a normal average day, like at Rocky Point or Yards. Like that was like a normal size day. And I was on my 6'3" and that was like kind of how it is. And then anything that's been smaller, it's been still really, really fun, but it's crazy because I know that I love the bigger waves, the faster waves, the steeper waves. And I really do with every session that I'm there. I really try to make the most of it and learn and catch waves and read the wave and try to do things for myself technically. I'm so blessed that I've now allowed myself 2 seasons in Hawaii to really focus obviously on my own surfing journey, exposed to those waves and the lineup. I mean, as well, like the lineup of surfers when I was in Hawaii, like everybody's good. Not even just the professionals, as we know are professionals and are amazing, but the other people in the lineup, they're so good. Like the surfers are amazing. And yes, I think there are also amazing surfers at Ulu, but the standard's different. So that's just some of my own personal takeaways and insights that I have observed since I've been back. And again, I'm grateful that I've had to experience that. That's a metaphor. Well, not a metaphor, but that's something for you to take away. Imagine if, okay, so what I'm trying to share and what you can take away from, me sharing about surfing, imagine what is possible for you if you allow yourself to stretch yourself, to feel uncomfortable, to be where you may feel like a little bit of an imposter syndrome, where you feel like a fish out of water. Imagine on the other side of that, what is possible for you in life, in money, in career, in business, in love, in friendship, in wellness, in fitness, in health, in vibration. Imagine what is possible for you if you allow yourself to stretch yourself, to expand in environments that allow you to feel the discomfort and then really just propel you to figure it out and match the frequency so that inevitably you can expand and amplify your success, your skills, your money, your friendships, connections. You understand what I'm saying. It always comes back to this. Most people, they share about like, oh yeah, I really want more money, or I want more of this, or I want to lose weight, or I want that. But then they don't actually do anything and say, oh, well, that's not really for me. But it's having that mental awareness and taking that action to do things that are really going maybe against the norm and going against what maybe people may judge you for or say something about, but just doing it anyway. And then on the other side, actually like resulting in having success. Like if you can imagine yourself and this is exactly what I've been doing, and we're going to tie this around. If you can imagine yourself in the next 1, 3, 10 plus years, achieving some of your wild, crazy ideas in whatever area of life, personal, professional, financial, love, friendship, wellness, fitness, health, growth mindset and you start to do things differently and feel uncomfortable, but allow yourself to continue to show up and be in those expansive environments and allow yourself to position yourself to be in that growth mindset and to listen to others who have the success and the stats and the results of what you desire. Like, do you not see, or can you please see and understand and embody that frequency now that it's possible for you? I think that's really powerful. For me, also being really strategic about creating success is to know when to go hard and to discern when maybe you need to like pause and reflect, take things a little slower. But for me, because the waves in the last 3 days have been really small, today I just did a home yoga practice, but yesterday I went to a yoga class. The day before, I also went to, and the two days before that, maybe one day before that, I was at a Pilates class. I've just been trying to focus on moving my body, but I've also been trying to just focus on my house here as well as like things for work. Because I know that always, and I've shared about this, sometimes when the waves are on, I'm more like focused and like, I'm not going to say distracted, but consumed with like what's happening in the surf more than I am like with business. The consistency of showing up as much as I can for surfing. However, I just said that yes, it is hard for me to surf when it's only 4 to 5 foot at Ulu. I just can't do that. I just can't do that. But in general, like, right, consistency, like being consistent as you can in the areas that you wish to create success. I want to move on to wellness, my wellness and health check-in. Okay, let's get really honest. Mid-year, well, almost mid-year, it's May. How is your health? Are you on track with the things that you said that you're going to do for your health? For your fitness, for your wellness. For me, I think I'm on track. I've gotten back to focused on I've gotten back to, I want to be doing Pilates 2 to 3 times a week. I'm still yet to book an appointment with Alistair, my surf sports physiotherapist, to do some weights once a week probably to start off with, and my stretchy band exercises. I'd actually like to get a treadmill so I can focus on still getting my 10,000 steps in a day, which I have not done that. I did buy a pair of sneakers, walking shoes to do that. It's always a great way to get those 10 steps in, as well as, like listen to like a podcast or a training or something. It was that woman time of the month that started, so I was eating a little bit more like sugar and chocolate. But the week before that, I actually had quit sugar again, super cleaned up my diet, started like cooking, and then my gas bottle broke. One night I went to sleep and I was like, I can smell gas? Yeah, the gas bottle broke again. Anyway, I'm getting a new sink installed to cook my meals at home, because I also, probably my second or third week, I got Bali belly when I came back. And every time I went out, like my stomach was feeling really off. I felt like I got Bali belly from eating at Salad Lab. And then it was so interesting that the week then that I started on, not last week, the week before, cooking, it was like, oh, all of a sudden I cooked all my food at home and then my stomach didn't feel off. It's very interesting, isn't it? I'm really focused on eating super clean, no sugar. Not necessarily, I think at this stage, not like more protein or more carbs or more fat. I was in ChatGPT kind of like looking at different ways to track calories, looking at macros, and I guess that's proteins and everything. I didn't really want to track it, but it would be really interesting to track. But just getting really clear about everything is connected. What your space, how cluttered your space is, food that you're consuming, how clean is that? How cluttered are you? Because it's all connected. So if you have certain areas that you wish to clear out and let go and amplify, it's a matter of like tracking that and knowing your metrics with that. I invite you to do your own health audit. I'm still taking all like my same supplements. I take a B12 spray, which is important for vegans. I have magnesium and a multivitamin. I used to have ashwagandha. Learned that you should take that at the end of the day. They're the only supplements that I'm taking currently right now. And a newest thing morning, that's why I need to get to bed ASAP, is reading 30 minutes before bed. No screens, no social media, last thing at night or first thing in the morning. Waking up at 5. First thing in the morning, my first hour to 90 minutes, it's listening to a course, reading a book, listening to a podcast, or writing some copy, doing something that's going to expand my mind or expand my wealth. Because those hours, if you've ever heard me on my channel, between the hours of 4 a.m. and 8 a.m. is a very sacred, special time of the morning. And it's when your brain, your mind has less ego. It's when your energy is really pure. And if you go to sleep the last thing at night and you're like scrolling the internet, and then you do that first thing in the morning, it's like crowding. I need to like detach from all of that and just stay really focused on what my goals are. And that's by being really clear about clearing out the noise and the clutter. So that's what I want to focus on, is alarm going off at 5, getting up, lights out, like 9:30, 10 at the latest, but 9:30. Obviously tonight it's going to be like 10:30 because I got to get through this. That is my wellness and health check-in. I'm continuing to listen to podcasts, that new course that I'm plugged into for business. Mindset, I guess it's being covered because I'm always listening to the Brooke Castillo podcast. That's what I've been really plugging into. I just started reading Brandon Dawson's The 9-Figure Mindset, and I'm still reading, pointing to back there, the Kathleen Cameron The Best of Yourself. And I invite you to think about what you need to do to upgrade your body, your mind, your energy, and what are some areas in your day, different practices and habits that you can incorporate or let go or start that allows you to elevate in those areas. Because you'll find that when you feel clear in the mind and you feel good with your energy, focused on your sleep, as well as, focused on like eating well so that you have nutrients, so that cognitively you're feeling well and clear and you're feeling good in your body because you're feeling well. It helps you, or it makes it easier to show up and be in a flow for your business, for your work, for your friendships, for your relationship, for all the different areas of your day. At least that's how I see it, of course. Like, I'm never going to tell you what to do. All I can do is share my insights with you. I did share about, I'm not going to do it today. It might be like more of like a vlog where I take you around and show you, a little bit more about the house. I'm also wanting to just really declutter. I've been doing that, getting rid of stuff. Threw out a whole bunch of like old journals that I've had since like 2020. Really don't need those. Different like filming equipment. I'm going to now get rid of my Rodecaster 2, as well as my old boom arm lights. I actually have plans. I would like to, when they built this house, they built the house next door, and there's a window to my left. When you open the curtains, there's a fucking brick wall. No comment. No comment. No comment. But I thought it could be really fun to turn that wall, because I've got my peacock chair there, into like another area for filming. You've probably seen in my videos before that sometimes I sit in that chair, and I thought it could be really fun to turn that wall into another space for filming. Sometimes I sit in that chair to read. Tiffany, do not touch the cord at the back of the microphone. This has happened so many times. How can you eliminate people, places, things in your life to create space so that you have clear the space so that you have the space to just focus on the goals that you have? I realized that one of the things I wanted to create less in my house is actually plants. 1, I've had a bunch of plants that have died. 2, it's maintenance. 3, Bikini, if you've noticed, sometimes when she gets really hungry and irritated, she throws stones. So it's and this is like again a metaphor, and this is what I've been trying to think about, how can you in your life, I asked you before, what can you do to upgrade? Again, what can you do to eliminate and let go of, whether it's people, whether it's self-limiting beliefs and thoughts and the narrative that you may have about certain things, whether it's literally like physical things things in your home that you, or in your life, that you can let go of, so that actually creates more space, so that you're just able to focus on what needs to be focused on, instead of, I'm not going to say wasting time, but spending time on things that you don't need to spend time on. Decluttering for me, having a clearer space, but there's more flow in my house, it's more organized. Obviously, there's just less clutter. That feels really, really good for me. There are a few more plants, so I still would like a plant in my kitchen. You know what I realized? One of the powerful things about my success with my business and my energy and my flow that I had when I was in Hawaii, not only the actual like frequency and vibration and the energy of Hawaii and the Hawaiian Islands, my life was very simplified. I just focused on business and surfing. I had a small amount of social time. I was able just to be in a small space, cooked my food, worked at home all the time. I kept things really simply, and I was able to have a lot of growth and momentum and expansion in my business. That's what I've seen here. How can I make my life as simple as I can, so that I can just focus on my goals for the next few years? I think that's really, really powerful. For me, as you know, like I'm open again to meeting guys, talking to guys. I talk to guys all day, every day when I'm like surfing, and I'm not so much focused on dating right now. And it's interesting. I think I shared about this. There's been some situations very, very powerful. I feel like the more that I have been so detached about men and dating and shown no interest, that's when it seems men more interested and more like trying to like get my attention. It's like, I'm not even playing a game here. It's just something that I have observed. There's like I'm not even going to share about it, but it's not even worth sharing about. So I'm not going to share about it. That'll be something else I can spill the tea in another time. I really want to wrap this up. I'm really asking you and inviting you to allow yourself your own powerful self-audit and asking yourself some really powerful questions, empowered questions. Are you really aligned with your vision? Do you have clarity with your vision? And are your current habits aligned with your desired future? And are you working from strategy or just loose thought and just like fresh vibes, which is important to have, the manifestation of thought and the frequency of your vibration, but it's got to be matched with strategy, right? This is what I believe and what I am focusing on myself. I really want to share about the power of ownership and intentional planning, which is what I shared before. Please, I invite you to write out your personal, professional, and financial goals. If anything, it's me being here as an example always, because for me, I'm so powerfully led by others on social media, mentors that I've had and people that I follow through social media. They have been the example for me to show up and create the success that I've had in my life with business and with surfing, with also health, wellness, fitness. My intention is to also be that light for you, to give you permission that you also can go out there and create an extraordinary life and be able to align with what you need to create that success. And that it's really, really key to be able to not only create that clarity around your vision and your values, but to align with models and structures and vehicles, education, mentorship that allows you to get there, and to also just know that no dream is too big. It never is. And that if somebody tells you that it's like silly or they laugh at you, that's also a sign that you're on the right track. I was writing a piece of copy today that when I stepped into entrepreneurship 5 years ago, I shared with a friend of mine, I had these wild income goals. And I just got laughed at. And the girl at the time, she laughed at me. She said, "Oh, it's great to have those goals, Tiffany." I thought, that was really like undermining. I felt really undermined, and I never want to feel that way with friends when it comes to my goals. I never want to feel that way when it comes to my abilities in surfing. I never want to feel that way in a relationship. I share that because it has been that for me in friendship, in relationships with men, and it's also been with my surfing capabilities that people have laughed at me and questioned me. That doesn't feel good, and it feels really uncomfortable. Fuck whatever other people have to think. I've really, focused on like, I'm doesn't really at the end of the day matter what other people think. But if something like it feels good for you, then you're on the right track. And you're also on the right track when people do start to laugh at you about your crazy ideas. And when you also feel like you're laughing at yourself and it seems really out of reach, that's also a sign that you're on the right track, that you're actually on track and in progress with like your dreams, your goals, your visions. Miss Bikini Munchkin, that I'm going to wrap up, everybody. Thank you so much for watching this video. I encourage you to create your manifestations, your visualizations, whether it's a Pinterest board, you can even do vision board. Please journal out I invite you to journal out your personal, professional, financial goals. Get really clear on the life and business and money and different realms of your life that you desire to create success with. Know that that is possible. I'm always here if you would like to drop any feedback in the comment section. I really do hope that you found some vibe and value with what I have shared. You can connect with me through any of my social media platforms. I'm here to, be the example and be a mentor for you to expand in your beautiful lives. Thank you very much, Bikini. Oh my gosh, Bikini. We both want to say thank you so much for watching the video. Bikini, any last words? Bikini. What's this? Like, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. I do apologize for the cat interruptions. But thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate it. See you next time.